The Future Fund has a new managing director. David Neal takes over from outgoing Mark Burgess. I'm joined by John Durie from The Australian. John, what do we know about David Neal?
David, he's the ideal choice for the job. He's actually been at the Future Fund since it started. He was a consultant advising on asset allocation when he was running Watson Wyatt back in 2007. And since then, he was about the second person appointed as Chief Investment Officer. And he's done that job until now, when he's going to take over the top job.
So now he's in charge. He moves away from day-to-day operation of the fund and someone else comes in, I assume?
That's right. It'll be interesting who they bring in, because it's obviously pretty big shoes to fill. And when you've got your predecessor as your boss, I think it'd be a pretty hard job. So I wouldn't be surprised if they get someone a little bit less, maybe a more junior person than they may otherwise have got.
Okay, and so what do we know about David Neal's investment philosophy? Is it still that very conservative outlook that the Future Fund has?
Well, his philosophy is what the Future Fund has been, because he's been doing that job. They're just about to hit. They're now worth over $100 billion, and they're very close to achieving their long-term target, which is about CPI plus about 5%. They're just a little tiny bit below that, which is a really good performance when you consider they've had to manage through the global financial crisis and so forth. And so I think they've done a fantastic job, and the Future Fund's in very good hands.
Now the Future Fund's set up to pay the liabilities in terms of superannuation or pensions for government workers and defence workers. When do they actually hit the target of actually having the full pot available to pay out those?
Well, that's a very good question. The Future Fund's one of these bodies that was created for something that we're not quite sure what it is. And in fact, they're going to get more work soon. In the last federal budget, the government talked about this fund, which is going to come from GP fees, the $5, which is going to a medical research fund. That money is going to be managed by the Future Fund. So their portfolio is expanding. They're one of the world's best sovereign funds, and they're doing a very good job. But the actual need for the money, that case hasn't been made as yet.
Okay, so at this point they've done well. They're almost got to that 100 billion. But how are they in terms of performance against the benchmark index?
They're ahead of the bench. Pretty well all benchmarks over sort of 12 months, 3-year periods. They've been a very good manager, there's no doubt.
Okay, and finally, Mark Burgess, where would he end up now?
God, no, that's a very good question. Mark's a bit of a mystery. He's very well regarded, did a good job there, but he only served 30 months and then surprised everyone by saying that he wanted to step out and go back to private enterprise. But that was last September, so it was 9 months ago, and so you would have thought he'd be in another job by now, but to the best of my knowledge, he's not. Now, maybe it's easier to look for a job when you don't have one. He's very highly regarded in the industry, but he's yet to publicly declare himself anywhere.
Perhaps some time on the beach first. John Durie, thanks very much.